Hey guys, Mike here from Old Man Things in the Fisherman's Nook. Jeeves is holding the camera. I'm gonna light my pipe and do a Wednesday night rabbit. So I got my James Upshaw. I just love this one. I don't know if you can see it, but look how thick those walls. I mean that thing just. Anyways, I like it. I light it. If you have your pipe, get your pipe out. Probably should do one more match. So I had a whole bunch of things I thought I'd talk about. Of course, you think I can remember now. When I was a kid, I loved the old Basil Rathbone Sherlock Holmes. It used to be on every Sunday morning, I think, on PBS. And I used to love to pretend I was Sherlock Holmes and play as Sherlock Holmes. And one time my grandma was going to England, and she said, "Do you want anything? You want me to bring you back anything?" I said, "Yeah. Can you bring me back a Sherlock Holmes hat?" So when we got the parcel from her, what was that? That's magical when I saw that I had a Sherlock Holmes hat. So I still have the hat. It never fit me even as a kid. It was too small. I still wore it. So I would have been around maybe 8, and I was going. My dad was showing me all his pipes, and he had this little like that size um, bent briar pipe. I just loved it, and I said to him, I said, "That looks like Sherlock Holmes's pipe." And he said, "It is. It's a small version, isn't it? The one, that of course Basil Rathbone had." And I said, "Can I have it?" So he said, "Yeah." So I was so excited and took it home and was playing Sherlock Holmes every chance I had with my hat and my pipe. When I mean home, I went back to my mom's house. I'd see my dad when I was a kid every other weekend until I was 13, and I went to live with him. But um, one day I came home from school, and my mom had I couldn't find my pipe, so I finally went to sit to my mom. "Where's my pipe, my Sherlock Holmes pipe?" And she said, She said, "That's from your father." And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "I threw it away." I was just devastated. Just devastated. I mean, it was like a part of me was taken away. And I remembered that pipe. I remembered every detail about it. I remember it had a little yellow circle right here. And this summer, and of course I can't find it now. I've looked I don't know what the heck I did with it. But anyways, this summer was at this antique shop. And this one spot had all these pipes. And they're all in terrible shape. Terrible shape. And I grabbed a few, and there was this little tiny bent one, and I grabbed that, and I thought it just something about that pipe. The end was broken off, so I mean it was just, but there was just something about that pipe. I just brought it home, really cleaned it up, and as I was looking at it, I was cleaning it up, and I saw that little yellow circle, and I mean it was just the tiny, like that size bent briar. And I saw that circle, and it came right back to me. It was like it was a yellow bowl, and that's what my dad had given me. And I mean, that just came right back to me. It was that little pipe. So then I took a file, and I filed some enough that you could put your teeth on it to hold it. It was in absolute terrible shape, still is, but I haven't seen it for like 2 months. I'm worried that it got with some papers on my desk and I threw them away. Or got tossed out. So I've looked on eBay numerous times for a little bent briar yellow bowl, and I haven't found anything. But anyways, I tell you about that was actually my first pipe. So then I went outside one day. We lived next to a farm field, and there was an old corn cob that, of course, the corn was off of it. And who knows how dried out it was, but it felt real solid. And my stepdad, he still is, he's a woodworker, and of course he had all the tools. So, and he let me from an early age because he watched me do stuff, so he knew he could trust me, use his tools. So I went in, I took that corn cob and I cut it, so I had a nice little round thing, and then dug out the inside core. And then we had these plants that were kind of like reed plants, whatever, and I cut one off, maybe like that size, and with a coat hanger I hollowed out that and drilled a hole in the corn cob and put that in there and sealed it. And that was my Sherlock Holmes pipe for the longest time. And I kept that hidden pretty good, and one day I came home and that was gone too. Oh well. And I've always liked the pipe. Always had a love for pipes. The longest time I didn't smoke. I would smoke once in a great while. But I would collect pipes. I'd go to antique shops. And this is like maybe 30 years ago. Buy a bunch of them, and any ones I could find that were worth anything, that were halfway decent, clean them out. So I had tons. None of them were really that well. They didn't smoke. A lot of them didn't smoke worth a darn. And last summer, when I got into Peterson's so much. It was a guy I knew didn't have much money. Him and his wife. And he was trying to get into pipes, and he had a couple of the gas station corn cobs, you know, like the cheapest of cheap corn cobs that you could find. They're like $5. And I went through all my old pipes, and I bet I had like 13, 14 of them. And I gave him pipes, and I gave him a big thing of BCA. I think that's what a BCA Lanes tobacco, because I knew for a beginner that's good and it smells good, so his wife wouldn't have a fit. Man, you would have saw his face. For the longest time, he'd send me a text at night with him smoking a different pipe and the biggest grin. He said to me, he said, you know, that was the nicest thing anyone's ever done for me. He said, I don't understand why you did that for me. He said, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever done for me. That right there made it worth giving it to him. Giving them it. So I didn't give them any that were my dad's. But I just knew I never would smoke them. So last year there was a guy, he posted, it was right around Thanksgiving time, that he had a whole bunch of wood. Well, it was his daughter's house. She had a whole bunch of firewood. But the daughter's husband died of cancer, and the daughter wasn't going to remarry, and she didn't want the wood anymore, and she wanted to clear out where he had it in his shed. So the guy posted on there, was this older guy. It was free, so I contacted him, and he said, I'll let you have it. So I went there, and I had my pickup truck, and I did like 2 loads, and there was about 2 loads left to get. And the day before Thanksgiving, somebody ran a stop sign and smashed into my truck and totaled it. So I messaged the guy, and I said, I can't get it anymore. I said, I really appreciate it, but I can't. And it was about like a half an hour away. I said, I won't be able to get it anymore because the pickup truck's totaled. So about a week later, he messaged me one night. It was like a Thursday night in Wisconsin at Thanksgiving time. It was about 4:30, 5 o'clock. But he messaged me around 4:30, and he said, are you going to be home? And I said, yeah. And he said, I got my trailer packed with the rest of that wood. I'm going to bring it over to you. And the guy was like in his 80s. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. And he said, give me your address. So I gave him my address, and he drove over. And between the two of us, we unloaded the wood. And there was the spot where I had it had got too high. So I said, well, let's put some more behind a nice big overhang behind the unattached garage. And he saw my canoe there, and he said, that's a nice canoe. What, is that a Winona? And I said, yeah, how did you know that was? I said, and he said, is that a Vagabond Solo? And I said, yeah. I said, how do you know? And he said, I have a Winona Solo Prism. And I said, you had just told me you're 86. And he said, yeah. And I said, do you go to the Boundary Waters? And he went, I don't go anymore. But he said, I like to paddle different places. He said, I try to go a few times a month. I said, do you have a bent shaft paddle? And he said, oh, I've always wanted one, but he said I could never afford one, and he said, I don't have a lot of money. I can't justify ever spending that much. So he said, just a second. And I went in the garage and I had an extra bent shaft. And I brought it out to him. I said, here's a thank you for the wood. And he said, I can't accept this. And I said, you're going to accept it? Because I said, I accepted your wood, otherwise you have to take your wood back with you. And he goes, you know how much these cost? And I said, that's fine, don't worry. I said, it's extra. I said, I have a good one. I said, this is just an extra one if I ever lost this one, but I'm not going to lose this one. And I said, I want you to have it. And I said, once you use this, you won't want to go back. And he said, you know how you made my day. He said, I wanted one of these for years. I mean, he was like a little kid with the biggest grin you ever saw. It just made my day to know that I mean, I was so happy seeing that guy. He reminded me of my grandpa. So, well, it's gone on almost 17 minutes now. This was truly a rabbit because I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I didn't want to toot my own horn. Sound like I'm this nice guy. Everybody, look how nice I am. Because I'm really quite miserable. I'm not, but anyways, all right. Thanks for watching, guys. Keep your pipes lit. Stay safe. See you later.